Creighton, or as she's known by the people who know her best, Mama C. The show where we uniquely combine the information teens need with the entertainment teens want.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Real Talk for Real Teens. We have as our guest today Amani Edwards. Hello, Amani.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for coming on the show. I'll let Amani introduce herself to the audience before I get into talking about Amani. So go ahead. Tell us about yourself, Amani.
Well, my name is Amani Edwards. I was born and raised in Atlanta. I attended the Atlanta Girls School from 6th through 12th grade. After that, I completed my bachelor's degree in foreign languages at Beloit College in Wisconsin. And then after that, I received a Fulbright award and spent 9 months teaching English in Siberia. And currently, I am a doctoral student at University at Albany in the Department of Public Administration and Policy. So I just moved up to Albany, New York about 2 months ago and have been studying for a while. And I'm glad to be talking to all of you.
Well, thank you. I'm going to give you guys a little background. I've known Amani since, I guess you were freshman, sophomore year?
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah, and ever since I've known Amani, I want you guys to go and look at her picture that I posted on, and she gave me the post. That is Amani. Big hair, big smile, big eyes, big dreams. I remember asking the young people there what they want to do, and Amani, I want to study Chinese. I was like, huh? What? And that's kind of how our relationship started, because you had such a unique perspective about the world at such a young age, and was doing what you could even at that age to pursue those dreams. So what will we be talking about tonight, Amani?
Tonight we're going to be talking about, well, whatever you want to talk about. This is your show. But also talking about young people going abroad, studying abroad, and just traveling really outside of the U.S. It's a great experience. I believe everyone who has the means to do it should try to do it.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about international education. So tell us why you think that's important.
Well, one thing about international education is it's not only continuing your studies of what you learned in the U.S. in another country, it's also learning and interacting with other people. When I travel abroad, I find a lot of people have preconceived notions about Americans. And so when they first meet an American, they say these different things of what they hear in songs or what they see on television. And it's good to actually have an American tell them, that's not true, or that is true. This is how we live, or this is how we live where I'm from. And it's also great to, I guess, defeat some of those stereotypes we have about other countries and other people as well.
Exactly, and that's a great perspective. I really wanted you to come on when I saw your parents, and they told me, and when I first saw your dad a couple months ago, he said you were in Russia, and then when I saw your mom again, she said you were coming back stateside. I really wanted you on here because you are that quintessential young person that I've been telling young people about getting out there. You guys, I believe, are the first generation of young people who can be a U.S. citizen and live the rest of your lives abroad. I mean, your brother is in Japan right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so just live your lives abroad. And I find that so many young people either are ignorant about, and young people, and I mean ignorant in not knowing, ignorant about the worldview or world travel, world education as a whole, or are scared. There's just in Georgia, There are young people who get the Millennial Gate Scholarship, which will pay for you to go to school through PhD, pay for 10 years of education anywhere you want to go. And young people aren't leaving the state of Georgia. And I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Georgia State, but I'm sure that's not the best school for what you've worked hard to get this scholarship. Go outside of that comfort zone, and that's what it is. They're too afraid to go anywhere. So they're not going to Georgia State or University of Georgia because that's the best school they can go to. They're too afraid to do anything else. So tell us, let's start talking about, okay, when I met you and you said you wanted to go study Chinese, where did that come from?
I had actually traveled to China the summer before my senior year in high school, and that was the first time I'd ever been abroad, the first time I'd ever been to another country. And it was a great experience. And from there, I knew I wanted to study Chinese or at least East Asian culture. And just going on that trip confirmed that. So that was really the starting point of me wanting to study Chinese. I actually also studied Russian language and culture, but I didn't do that until I got into college. I never actually thought of doing that when I was in high school. It was just something I thought about my second year in college, and I've held on to it since then.
And what opportunities do you find having that worldview, having that ability to pick up your passport and go to these different places at your age?
Well, at my age, it's easier because I don't have any responsibilities. You know, I don't have children or a husband or anything that's going to really tie me down to the States. But another thing that I realize is because I'm young, there are a lot of scholarships and grants out there that allow young people to go abroad, even if it's just for a couple of weeks. Just go to a different country and volunteer or do an internship or study another language. There are a lot of opportunities for young people, a lot of ways that young people can get funding.
Wow.
Also,
so we're talking. So I want you to hold on to that thought because you just got me with something. So it's not, back in my day when people went abroad, it was usually people who were very affluent. It wasn't your average, your friend from down the street. But you're saying there's money out there for young people who choose to have a different experience, to have an international experience. There's money. There are people who will pay for them to go do those things.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So, so keep talking. I didn't know that. So, so there really is no excuse for not, if that's something you want to do, because now we're now aware as an audience that this is something you don't even have to come out of your pocket with, right? Because I know Fulbright is one thing.
Yes. So the Fulbright, they pay you while you're over there teaching or researching or studying. But the thing about the Fulbright, for those who do want to apply to Fulbright, just a quick disclaimer, you do have to pay for your flight going over there, and you do have to pay for the whole visa process. So there is money out of your pocket that you have to give. They give you opportunities, like if you need help covering your visa fees, they will help you with that if you ask them. But generally, they pay you, but you do have to cover your flight going to that country and also processing and receiving your visa. But the summer before my senior year in college, I actually applied for a Gilman International Scholarship, and that helped fund my internship in Taiwan that summer. So that's another scholarship specifically for college students. They do fall, winter, spring, summer, full year, year-round scholarships. So there's different opportunities with that.
And so the school you went to you said Wisconsin, your undergraduate, right?
Yes.
Why did you choose that school?
I chose it. One is I wanted to go to a small school that offered a wide array of languages. So they were one of the few small population schools that offered Chinese, Russian, Japanese, German, French, Spanish. Also, I wanted to play sports at the Division III level, so I was able to play sports and study and get involved in different things. So that's why that school was the best fit for me. It also turns out that when I went, about 50% of the students studied abroad at some point in their time there. I've had friends who went to 2 different countries for a whole year. Most of my friends, by their junior year, they were studying abroad for a semester. I actually had a friend, she'd never been on a plane before, and I believe the second or third plane ride in her life was her semester in Morocco and Estonia. And so, wow. I mean, wow. it just offered like a lot of opportunities for people to go abroad. In fact, they really promoted it, and they really helped you go abroad. And depending on the program you went on, they used your financial aid to cover the program costs. So a lot of times you didn't even have to go in your own pocket and pay for your study abroad. Like if you received $20,000 in financial aid and your program cost was $12,000, then that's an $8,000 extra dollars that you didn't have to spend for that semester because you're abroad in another country. So my school was really focused on international education in all different aspects, whether it was getting students to go abroad or bringing people from other countries to the school and having them speak to the students.
And I'm glad you went into such detail because I find that, because I want to back up. How did you find this school?
Okay. I believe it was my junior or senior year in high school. I had one of my Latin professors. She actually told me about it. She had wanted to go there, but she wasn't able to. But she really wanted to. She was the one who told me. She was like, you should really look at this school. It has what you're looking for. It's great. It's small. You can play sports. You can really get involved there. It's a great school. So I had never really heard of it before. Like, I was like, Wisconsin. The only thing I knew about Wisconsin was like Green Bay Packers and Milwaukee. That was about it. But I was like, okay, that sounds nice. It was actually my mom. She helped me out a lot with the college application process. And I told her, I was like, oh, my Latin professor, Ms. Burke, she was like, oh, you should look into Beloit College. And my mom actually looked it up, and she goes, Amani, they have everything you're looking for. You should send an application. You should give them a phone call. And I was like, okay, my mom says it, then it's true. So I sent in my application and, got more information back for them. What really, I guess, cemented my, what really made me want to go to that school was the fact that the volleyball coach called me. Even though I was academically focused, I knew that this would be the best place for me if I wanted to achieve in getting a job and achieving academically. I also wanted to play sports, and that was the first school and the only school where the coach called me and was willing to answer questions not only about athletics but academics as well. And she set me up with people who were on the volleyball team that were interested in what I was doing, and I knew that that was just the place I needed to be at.
Wow, they had set up their whole that family environment before you even got there.
Yes.
And the reason I'm digging into this is because I find that so many young people end up in colleges just because it's not their choice. They don't really even have a choice. They end up in a college that is either gives them the most money or that they just got accepted in. And so the fact that there was so much planning and thought that went into this, I really wanted to really go in detail about, because it's a process that starts, and if young people take advantage of it, they can get in the schools of their choice. They don't have to go to just a school that, finally gets back to them. But one thing I want to ask you, in your in particular, since you and your brother have been abroad, how do you think what makes your parents so different from other parents?
My parents actually pushed me to go abroad. They were the main ones who wanted me to go. Like when I told them I got the Fulbright, they were like, all right, you're going into Russia for 9 months. Or when I told them that I had found an internship opportunity in Taiwan, they were like, all right, you're going to be in Taiwan this summer. Like, I actually was talking to a friend about this not too long ago, but my parents really appreciate the idea of international education and going abroad and learning about new cultures, learning new languages, enhancing your abilities and skills and things that you already know. And they really push me to go abroad and also support me when I travel to different countries or even travel to different states, just travel in general, any type of travel, foot, car, air, boat, plane, horseback.
Yeah.
Any type of travel, any way to broaden my horizons and go to a different country, a different city, a different state. My parents really support that. And so that's part of why I enjoy going abroad, because I know I have that family support no matter where I am.
And and again, that's another, I'm glad we're talking about that, because I find that so many young people aren't going abroad or even leaving the States because their parents don't want to go. I did a workshop just Monday, and I was talking about this international education, and it's quite unfair for parents to hold their young people back in this society where they will be competing with international peers. And one of the participants there said that she hadn't even thought about that, and she said, wow, you made me rethink this, because her daughter wants to go to another state for school. And she was like, and I had been telling her, no. I was like, yeah, that made me rethink that. And I was like, yeah, because you don't really have a right. I mean, and you know me, I can be very, blatant and blunt. I mean, as a parent, your job is to prepare these young people for the world that they live in. And this world that you guys live in is not the world that we live in. I didn't have to go abroad to succeed. I didn't have international peers the same way you do. And for parents who don't prepare their young people for that, are you putting their young people at a disadvantage? So I just really applaud your parents for being able to push you and your brother out of the nest and say, hey, fly. And wherever you fly to, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, and going off of that, I will say that some parents cannot give their children the same opportunities that I had, that my parents were giving me. Like, I am truly blessed for my family and my parents, because even though, like, I've done all these things, my parents were always right there helping me, pushing me along, and supporting me. A lot of people don't have that same support network, and it's not necessarily the parents' fault. Maybe it's financial reasons or familial reasons. There's a lot of different things going on. But that's also harmful, because a lot of employers now are looking for people who have some sort of international experience on their resume. And so just going abroad to Canada, Mexico, somewhere, just getting out of the United States, doesn't matter how long it is helpful, especially in this tough job market that my generation is facing today.
And that's what I was wanted you to. That's why I was so excited when you said that there are opportunities that will pay for it. Because again, that just blew out that whole excuse of we don't have the money. Yes, you've lived, you've had an education that a lot of young people don't have, because you went to a very good private school, and you've had different experiences. But that still does. It's the whole thing of, okay, that's your situation. Now what? What can you do to whatever your situation is? There's something you can do if that's what your goal is, or just to be aware of the opportunity. Because as you said, you have something international on your resume, and your arsenal tools puts you way ahead of your other peers who are just inside the United States.
Yes. And for students who, I guess, do their higher education within within the state, that's another thing. When I went to Beloit College, this is a small liberal arts private college, in small-town Wisconsin, but a lot of the people who went there were either from Wisconsin or from a small town in Illinois that wasn't that far away. So even with these small, prestigious liberal arts colleges, you still have people who stay in state or not too far from home.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, you know, here everybody talks about the Hope Scholarship and this, that, and the other. But what I'm trying to say is don't limit yourself to the Hope Scholarship. Do what you need to do so that you can get whatever money you need to be getting, and that the Hope Scholarship is not the only scholarship money that you have available to you, so that does not limit your choices. You know, so it's not that I have to go here, but I choose to go here.
Yes. So
I just want you to tell me. Go ahead.
Excuse me?
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
A lot of times.
A lot of times it's hard to make that decision. I know I was actually given a full ride to a school, and I could have done the same things there that I did at Beloit, and I chose not to take it and instead incur a lot of loans at Beloit College. But then I realized, like, as I look back on it and see where I am today, it was the best decision. I'll probably be paying off loans till I'm 30 or 40, but, you know,
join the club.
Right now I'm at a good point in my life that a lot of people aren't at, basically.
Yeah. Well, I want you to give me some experience about how you were in Siberia, of all places. What was that like?
It was cold. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. It was cold. It was, I don't know, I wasn't really facing a culture shock. It's just more different people, getting used to different people. So when I first got there, I was like, oh, okay, I'm in Russia. I don't know. I don't get surprised. Like, a lot of people, when they travel, they're like, oh, my God, look at this, look at that. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'm in Siberia. But, yeah, so I didn't go to many places. I went to where I was staying and to the university to teach. Every now and then I'd get up and walk around the city center, or I'd go to the museum. They had a zoo there, you know, seeing different things. I think the biggest thing was just being black in Siberia. There are not that many blacks there, and there are even fewer black women. Not only that, but I was one of few, maybe even the only African American there. So most of the black women there were from Cuba or Nigeria or another country in West Africa, and I was probably actually the only African American. So not only was I black and walking around, but I was a black American and walking around. And so just sort of getting used to that and just taking opportunities to talk to people and open up to them. But what was great was that I was teaching, and I made friends with a lot of my students. I actually just talked to two of them a couple of days ago, and I was able to talk with them, and I helped them with their English, and they taught me some Russian words and taught me a little bit about the city, about their culture, and I told them some things about America. So through my teaching of English, I was able to really talk to people and, I guess, make some useful relationships that I still keep today. And I actually still talk to some people from there. Like, I had two friends come over to the U.S. this summer, and it was great just talking to them and catching up and everything. So I guess it was just more dealing with being not exactly an outcast, but just being different in a country where people really don't see you that much unless it's on the television.
Yeah. And I can really see where if you're the only one that they ever come across, how you are now you become the figurehead or the spokesperson for all African Americans.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Amani is going to finish up by giving you 3 tips for developing your international education skills.
New or unknown music artists, we need you for the show. If you'd like your own mini concert, please send a request for information to realtalkforrealteens@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook at Real Talk for Real Teens and on Twitter at RTFRT Radio.
All right, guys, we're back and we're finishing up our conversation with Amani Edwards about international education. So, Amani, what advice would you give your peers on developing their international ed skills?
I would say the first is do your research. So find a program, find a university, find mentors, and most importantly, find money. My second tip would be to not be afraid. If you expect something to happen, then it's going to happen. But if you want a positive experience, you'll have one. If you want a negative experience, you'll have one. So just really keep an open mind and pretty much have faith and know that it's going to be okay. My third tip would be to do it. Just in general, just go and do it. Not only for yourself, but so that you can share with others around you and maybe inspire others to do the same. And just get out and go.
So do you have any plans for any travel anytime soon?
No international travel. I think for the time being, I'm done living and traveling to other countries. 9 months in Russia and then like 2 weeks traveling around Europe. I'm about traveled out. The next plane I'm getting on will be back to Atlanta to spend Christmas with my family and then back up to Albany to continue studying. But maybe in a couple of years, I'll go abroad, just either for leisure or for academics.
Okay. And what do you explain what you're getting your PhD in, and what are you planning on using it for?
I'm getting my PhD in public administration and policy. Right now, I'm not for sure what I'm going to do with it. The program places students mostly in academia, and I'm considering academia, one, because I think teachers are great, two, because there are very few black professors in colleges and universities, and so I'd like to be that black professor that not only offers a different perspective but helps black students in these universities. I know I had one when I was in undergrad, and I really appreciate her, but she was one of, I believe, 2 in the whole college. So I'd really like to be a professor, but there is more money in being a consultant or working at a think tank. So my monetary options are being considered as well as I look at my loans, the student loans I have to pay off in the future. But right now I'm really just focusing on my schoolwork and getting through this first semester.
And you're back in a very cold place.
Yes, not like Siberia or even Wisconsin. It's a little better.
Yeah, see, that's one reason I left Chicago. I cannot stand cold weather. Oh, if I never see a flake of snow again in my life, I would be so happy. I hate cold weather. Well, thank you, Amani, so much for taking the time to speak to my audience and about your experiences and the importance of international education. As always, I'm wishing you much success, and I hope to see you when you come down to visit your parents or your family for Christmas.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening, and please join us each and every Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern for more Real Talk for Real Teens.